I'm on vacation every single day, cause I love my occupation. Hey, I'm on vacation. If you don't like your life, then you should go and change it. Hey, I'm on vacation every single day, cause I love my occupation. Hey, I'm on vacation every single day, every single day. Every single day, every single day. Every single day, every single day. Everybody sour like a lemon tree. I'm just smiling down upon my enemies. Do the shit and love it on a daily. Say you hate your job, but you'll never leave, never leave. But that ain't gonna be me, that ain't gonna be me. My brother called me up, said he saw me on TV. I said it wasn't easy, but right now I'm living breezy. Build this engine from the ground up, now my hands, they ain't so greasy, feel me? Hey, I'm on vacation every single day, cause I love my occupation. Hey, I'm on vacation every single day, every single day. Every single day, every single day. Every single day, every single day. Illuminate my...
If you're sitting here watching this stream today, you cannot underestimate how ahead of the curve you are right now.
Bitcoin looks tired, altcoins look hungry.
I'm just not quite sure that Bitcoin has any more sauce.
I still think this thing is really worth a lot more than it is.
This stuff's spooky, man. These chaos PRZs are intense.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Solana is highly performant and has the team with the experience to support it.
$4,800 Ethereum. That's a big, big move here.
Whatever you do, always play from a position of strength. Welcome back. Hxro Labs Live. What's up? Good to see y'all. And I'm going to post this in TRI. So one sec. Go down, baby. Just want to say hi. Hey, Mom. And let you guys know that it's pumping today. The market's moving. Yes. If you waited around patiently, if you practice discipline, I didn't. I was a little undisciplined in the last 2 months. I'm going to be honest with you. I blew a little bit of money that didn't need to be blown because the signals that came in the last 48 hours, 72 hours, they were the ones. They were the ones that, you know, it's like you see all these things happening over the last few months and you're like, oh, maybe this, maybe that, maybe this is it, maybe this is it. And then it actually happens. You're like, oh, wait, no, this is it. This is the thing I've been waiting for. The decoupler talk is beginning. Yes, I like it, Fishy. Why not? Why not? Crypto should decouple. It's tiny. It's this big. It's this big. It's probably so small I can't even do it with my fingers. You know, what is it like? All of crypto put together, all of those CEOs and those projects and those developers and that, you know, the TVL, the funds, all that put together is like half of Apple stock. One stock in one stock exchange in one country. I feel like it's a little small. So should we decouple? Yeah, you guys know my theory about that. It's not my own, but I adhere to it. Anyways, very exciting today. I am sitting in the largest long I've ever taken on futures, which makes today a little bit sweeter. And I don't want to jinx it, so we're not going to talk too much about that. But in this moment, I am euphoric. I can't reach around it. In this moment, I am euphoric. But I'm gonna keep it open. I'm not fucking selling. And I'll tell you why. We're gonna get into the charts today. We're gonna get into, you know, what I'm seeing now. I heard that the UK dropped some news. I was actually out getting a haircut and I had price alerts set every $50 because if we got a big rally, I wanted to like feel my phone explode. And I was getting a haircut a couple hours ago. Not so friggin', you know, shaggy anymore. And my phone was just blowing up. So I was just like, oh, and I kept checking. I was like, oh, we're rallying, we're going. I can't wait to get into the charts with you. So let's just get to it. Let's get over there right here. Now this is a chart First of all, August, hello. Good to see you, bro. T-Head, Tibble, Fishy, the good stuff. Nana, Tice, J Tice. Welcome to the stream today, guys. This is going to be a fun one. Not only because the market's moving, actually mostly because the market's moving. But seriously, it's one of those days. And look, if you're sitting in stables because you are waiting for the Fed pivot, if you are sitting in stables because you didn't get a setup, or you just want to see greed in the market again, right now it's still extremely fearful. If you're in those positions, don't be so sad. Don't let this eat you up, because everything I'm seeing is that this is a breakout, beginning of new trend. And of course, we could wallow in despair down here, come into some of this resistance here and just be like, "Rrr, rrr, rrr." I highly doubt that, but it's possible. I'm not going to trade that. Anything's possible, but for everything I'm seeing is the beginning of a new trend. Not only, the breakout, the higher high, but really it's like this volume, right? So you come into these lows, bears are in control. Right here, lots of sellers, not a lot of buyers. Bears are in control. Boom, bulls wake up, breakout. And then we got into a nice midterm rally into the merge. Looks obvious in retrospect. And what we have now, if you look at the volume analysis just on ETH, this is the first significant daily candle where the bulls have woken up. So it doesn't seem like the end of a move. Now, if I was in some like low time frame scalp, I'm sure I would have hit some take profits today, blah, blah, blah. The friggin' moving averages are still not even crossed yet. They're just crossing. So I don't think it's time to despair. If I was sitting in stable, I still have some stables. Thankfully, I deployed a lot through here because I just couldn't help myself. I said, this is just seems too good that we're just down here in what had been. And I'm looking at ETH today because it's outperforming, so I'm an ETH maxi now. That's what trader's life is, right? Marry the bag that will serve you well and then cut it loose when it no longer serves you. So I guess don't marry it, just date it. So I was accumulating Bitcoin through this consolidation in the 19Ks. This is obviously ETH, but you know what I mean. And then just the other night, ooh, and I found out some cool alpha. Remind me, you can actually connect your TradingView account to where you trade, which in my case is FTX. And apparently it'll execute trades directly from TradingView. So that's dope. I just found that out an hour ago. I'm going to set that up later. Hot alpha. They didn't used to have them on there. Now let's go look at ETH BTC, because I tweeted this out the other day. I guess it was Sunday that, this was an area I was watching. I thought that ETH would come down lower, ETH BTC. I thought it would come all the way down here. But I'm not going to get too attached to an idea, right? If the market gives me new information, I've got to pivot. And the faster I pivot, the more confidence I pivot with, conviction rather, the better. So in this case, I thought for sure come down here. This would be green for support, and we would come into here. And we still might, right? We still might. So I'm not going to count that out yet. But what I do see is a new trend emerging. Very possible, since this is just like a big fat 2-year range. It's very possible we come out in here and then and we still end up down there. And I'm like, oh, how did that happen? Into January or something. But this breakout candle signaled me, says, you know what, it's time to flip all that Bitcoin, because I was pretty much like 90-10 in my Bitcoin to ETH ratio. And when you're that heavy into one or the other, especially given the tokenomics with ETH and the deflationary potential and blah, 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 it's something I have to watch carefully. So anyways, this breakout triggered last night or yesterday, kind of midday. Maybe it was Sunday night. What is it? Sunday. So the 23rd was the breakout candle. And then as the Trendmaster goes, which I don't use this for a lot of my trading, but I do like it for bigger swing kind of positions like capital outlays. So it's like, oh, we're heading into a midterm looking trend on ETH BTC. I'd like to switch over to ETH. And then it's like, oh, that's coming into a top. Okay, I'm going to switch back to Bitcoin. That's kind of my latest strategy for using this. And when this pipped above right there, it's very hard to see, but it is there, and it pipped a little bit above this, and that was just like a breakout, kind of like, time to swap all my Bitcoin to ETH. So I did that, and it looks like today we're moving. Now, we've got to get the news. Fishy, yeah. No, I heard Fishy. Fishy says great news about the broker on TradingView, the whole connection thing. I heard that if you do this and like this, and just say, you do all your setups, just say like that, okay, 275, and then you can actually like click create limit order. Yeah, and it'll actually send that order over to FTX, and it'll just make all these orders. I think. I haven't tested it yet. I literally was just on a call and somebody pointed it out. So very exciting. All that to say, we were sliding through this pump chaser zone. I was getting a little nervous as far as like waiting for all the way down here. I said, look, I'm just going to keep an eye on this, and if it breaks it from here, I'm going to just have to flip back, which is fine. I flipped mostly to Bitcoin. Well, actually, I flipped mostly to cash, and then as I was reaccumulating, it was almost always Bitcoin because I'm a dusty old boomer. I don't know why. I think it's a lot of like Rob has an influence on me in terms of like thesis driven stuff where he's just like, look, the thesis for Bitcoin has never been stronger. And I'm like, you're right. And it's the safest way to get into crypto from cash. So when I went to stables, mostly coming back in, I felt like, ETH had its party and I was just going to start with Bitcoin. Anyways, I'm back to ETH now as of sometime yesterday morning, I think it was. Got a little perp long. Let's go see the ETH perps now. This is the breakout. There was a really nice range, and I just drew this up today, so it is a bit of a made to fit range where I was like, lows here, got swept, came up, highs here, got swept, came down, EQ kind of getting some action, whatever. But I drew that up today more just when I was messing around. Mostly what I thought was interesting was this. Right off the more recent low. There's a few ways you could draw this, but let's do that. First of all, we're in the high time frame reload zone. Let's be clear. So we were, off the lows into the merge, down into that reload zone. In fact, where is it? There was one really spicy wick, and I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but it was just delicious, and I want to give it a little shout out because I didn't buy it. And at the time I thought I should. Yeah, right here. So when that merge kind of finished and I was done being a bulltard because I was like I was way too bullish post merge. I admit that. And then I eventually just capitulated and said, okay, we're going to go for the full dip into the 1250, 1200. And I drew up this box. And then on the CPI print a couple weeks ago, it just went pink. And of course I looked at it and goes, 2 months ago when I drew that box, I should have just set orders and forgot about them. Kind of a lot's happened since then. So I didn't have the orders set. But, if you've ever been in doubt that this TI stuff works, it's really about us, right? As humans, the operators of our trade account, we are the ones who have to not fuck it up. TA works. You just have to manage risk and pick your levels and whatever. So that was a really nice dip, really nice level. And that, of course, is the high time frame trend line drawn from COVID lows up through the beginning. All that June stuff just basically came in and tagged it. So I thought a retag of that confluent with this. So there's all these reasons now. Of course, it's easy to say today because we're having a nice big green day, but all these reasons where this just felt like the higher low. And I say that as like, okay, it could be wrong. And all these guys who just suddenly became, macro experts and stable coin maxis down around here, like maybe they're all going to win together and we're just going to get into this and just like the last bear market. But I had this sneaking suspicion it's going to play out differently. Sneaking suspicion that, well, not suspicion, I mean, just objectively speaking, the higher low, risking against that, but with infinite upside. And we've talked about that on the stream before, where it's like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know that I can get small risk and big reward potential if I just start getting long in these areas. And so I was willing to get rinsed. And I did actually. I got beat up in here a little bit on Bitcoin. It was pretty bad. In fact, I almost capitulated last week. Mid last week, I made a decision that I was going to stop trading into the end of the year because it was net negative for me. It was causing me stress. I was not being successful. And the fact is, I was just over trading. I was trying to get too cute in the zone. And thank God I sat back and reflected and just thought to myself, like, man, like, you just capitulated, like, right at the worst time. Like, this has to be, like, it's not a coincidence that I decided right then and there. So I took a day off from everything, and then, or two, I think, on the weekend. And then I just came back, and then, of course, we got that really bullish close on Sunday night, and I was like, one more time. one more time. We're just not going to quit here. And it reminded me of that picture of the guy like tunneling, right? And then the one guy turns back and he's right before he found the diamonds. It felt a lot like that. And I saw that meme online and I said, yeah, not going to be me, you know, taking a bunch of small paper cuts. So I got a lot of paper cuts through here. And that's what we talked about last week on the stream. You know, the idea of having small wins, small losses, break evens. And that's the meat of your trading. Like 80% of your trading is just tiny wins, tiny losses, and then break evens, like shitty little things. 1% up, 1% down, who cares? And then once in a while, you get into a position, there's your winner, let your winners run, right? When you find yourself in a profitable trade. So long story short, that's why I'm not rushing to close my perp today. This is Bitcoin. It looks a little different than ETH. It's a little weaker relatively. It hasn't even broken the highs of this sort of September, October range. It just looks different. It's hard to explain exactly, but let's go ETH perps. Let's go look here. ETH, much clearer cut breakout. We're going to go to the daily. And so all that to say, you get this nice fat W back in June, July, run up into resistance in the merge, post-merge. You get what should have been the most obvious thing ever, which was like a nice little exhale from anyone that was just bullish on the merge and trading into it. And I believe this was an ABCD. It was either, it was probably pretty close. Yeah, I think, I think it's on, is it on Coinbase that I had all this shit? Yeah, look at this shit. Oh my God. I remember this day because I was so excited. I was like, I found this like super level. And it turns out it pretty much pipped this thing. So we had like 786 within a 786. We had a chaos PRZ downwards. So if you just take this and spit it out down, and yes, I had to draw a few to find one that fit, but it fit. And I don't usually trade off those, but it's just one of a few little reasons. And then we had the high time frame trend line, which we just looked at from back here, with the ABCD harmonics, so the measured move. So if you have this and then up to here, you could say that this next move will end at the bottom of that. And then we had a VPVR node down here, which was really juicy. And then, of course, if you look left, we had some big historical SR levels here, drawn off the weekly. But anyways, and all of those things aligned pretty much right here through this box. But as it turns out, all we needed was an ABCD harmonic. It didn't look like... Doesn't quite pip on this one. You can see. So it's not as cute. You missed it. $20 of wrong. But over here, I think it did. So that's cool. Oh, so juicy. So when TA works, it just feels so cool. It just looks so sweet. It's like, how did that work? So yeah, pretty sweet. Now, did I long that? No. Would that be me like transitioning from an analyst into like primarily a trader? I'm primarily an analyst. I much prefer analysis. I like to play with charts. I like to look at shit. When it comes to executing that discipline piece, I leave a lot to be desired after the last bull market. I got very thrown to the wind with discipline. So, but I'm gaining it back. Over the last 12 hours. No, seriously though, this looks good. We got a really nice breakout today. We've got a blast in volume. Apparently, there's news that the UK has now decided that cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin should become regulated financial instruments. Regulated or just allowed? I don't know, but it was bullish news, clearly. Let's go look it up. UK crypto regulation? I don't know. Lawmakers vote to recognize crypto. There we go. Let's pull it up. Okay, we don't need you telling it. I'm going to tell it. Lawmakers vote to recognize crypto as regulated financial instruments. Lower House of Parliament voted in favor of adding crypto to the scope of activities to be regulated. So it's about regulation. So that's not all bad, but I guess it's like them saying we're not going to ban it. We're going to embrace it. And it sounds this, I'd have to read more. I don't want to say what the headline sounds like without reading it, but seeks to extend payments rules to stablecoins. The tone of the regulation is what's important, right? Because regulation, as we've seen in the US, can be stifling. It can also be fostering innovation. So we're going to have to, dig into this a little bit. But my quick hot take, uneducated hot take, is that I heard that the new prime minister over there in the UK is pretty crypto savvy, pro crypto. And let's be honest, they need this. They need a win, okay? It feels like it's been downhill since Brexit for them over there in the UK, and that could be for you guys if you're over there. It feels like it's been downhill for a while, so they need a win. And if they're going to be like a nice hotbed for crypto while the United States twiddles their thumbs and messes this up, then go for it. So I think that is pretty obviously what spurred the better part of this breakout. Like right into this candle. These were really fat volume candles until this thing showed up. Holy shit. Now highs, as you know, rarely come in on the highs volume. I know some people say, well, the blow off top, but like I typically will look for a new high on exhausted volume. So I'm certainly not rushing to cut my longs here today. I have some spot ETH that is generally just going to be in spot ETH or spot Bitcoin playing this cross, ETH BTC cross, as we talked about earlier. Here we go. But for my perp long, like for some more like just a trade, I'm not in a rush to get out of this one. Not today. I used to be. I would have like, oh, it's a bear market, take what you can and run and, cut your long right away. I'm going to let this winner run. Obviously, it's stop loss break even now down in this pump chaser zone. But I think we're done for today. And it won't matter if I'm wrong about that. And if we keep going, great. But I think we probably are done for today. And then it's a matter of like, like something like this. And then just more. I really, after this long consolidation through this and just all this presumably accumulation through there, I would imagine that it's time to go up and see this short reload zone. And it's pretty typical, right? Where you get this big breakout, say, oh, great trade, and then you get out, and then you like FOMO back in, and then you get squeezed, and you FOMO back in, and then you get squeezed, and like find a way to water down what would have been just a nice win by trying to overtrade this. That's typically what I would have done. That's my old thing. Meanwhile, imagine the headlines when we start taking out this high at 1750, if we do that. Right? Crypto's back, bear market's over. There's a ton of cash on the sidelines. I mean, look at the friggin' Dixie, for fuck's sakes. This isn't a direct representative of how much cash is on the sidelines, but like cash is friendly. Cash is heavy. There's a lot of cash out there. By the way, Dixie's breaking down. Go fuck yourself. Don't miss ya. Have a nice day. Bye-bye. Now, of course, we could consolidate up here for a bit. Right? We're right in that local reload zone. We're right into this kind of fib pong. So I'm not going to like dance on the grave just yet because this is very possibly just that. But if we break down from here, that's when the bigger party starts. I think we will. I think this is enough here to tell me that we're just going to fail here for a little while, cool off, at least a few weeks. But I don't want to dance on the grave just yet. We're at the 786 of what should or could be like a further consolidation. So I'm not going to get too cocky there. But I've been in this situation before, coming out of really bearish stuff. I mean, we're still in extreme fear. We're not even up to neutral yet. We haven't had one daily print. And the setup I've got is a midterm swing. So I'm not even looking at the sell button until we get into this short reload zone, which is like 1700. And I do think that'll be weeks. So I got to find a hobby, because if I sit here and stare at my P&L going up and down, that's what I always do to get myself into trouble. If I ever fuck something up, it's because I looked, so you're like, oh, I'm up this much. And then like 2 days later, I'm only up this much. And then you feel like you lost, even though you're in the middle of a winner. And you shake yourself out. So I'm just not really going to do that for this one. It's my only rule. I've decided I don't even care about the dollar value. I only care about my ability to make a properly executed trade, which is the way you're supposed to trade, RT. Yes, I know. But the bear market does nasty things to mofas. So I've been hurting a bit. But this is it. When analysis meets good trading, that's the plan. So we're coming into the first chaos. We're going to get into some charts and requests in a little bit, guys. But bear with me, because ETH is stealing the show today. We're coming into the chaos. Now, this one is drawn more locally off of, I'll show you. Right here. So if you have this consolidation, you kick it out, gives you a nice more like a little bit more of a friendly local chaos PRZ as part of this trend. We didn't quite hit it today. We actually came close, which is amazing. I mean, if I woke up this morning, I thought we were going to break out and go up. I didn't think we'd hit 1,500 in the first 2 hours or 6 hours. So that's pretty cool. But I'd say that's probably either this, or if we go higher, like that'll be the first sort of line in the sand, stopping point, and then it'll, if we get a slam down, that's not time for me to start rushing to sell. That's time for me to start trading Fib Pong on a separate futures account. Let's see if I can get some Fib Pong in there, because there's going to be some really nice trades. And for those of you who don't know, that's where I like to get out my little fibs. And so, okay, we measure the consolidation range basically with that. And then I take my first trade here, which, as you can guess, is a short against those highs. And then I take that short down into that local reload zone, and then I flip it long, and then I flip it short, and I flip it long, I flip it short, flip it. You can usually get a few trades. And what you need to set that up is a really strong impulse followed by a slam down. So you have a really strong trend and then boosh. And that is typically what stops the move and then shocks it into a state of consolidation. And it is in that consolidation that I can run that setup. And I'm finally ready for it. I'm finally like thinking about it before it comes. Usually it's something I see like after the first two moves and I go, oh, this is Fib Pong. So I'm getting ready for some Fib Pong. I'm not rushing into it. It's probably going to be something I'd like to do on the hourly, which as you can see is not even close. But anyways, yeah, waiting for a strong, I think we could probably find one on Ripple. I feel like the last time I had a successful Fib Pong sesh that I can remember. It might have been pretty old though, so I might have to go back a while. But yeah, there was a really good one on Ripple. Was it here last year? I think it was. I mean, it went on that crazy run up. Yeah, and then it was just like, right, so slam down. I think this was it. That might be a little too extreme, but oh, it might have been up here just on the 15-minute. Either way, same idea, right? And then, yeah. Short reload zone. I don't think that's it, so take all that back. That's what happens when you do it live. I think it was up here on like a 15-minute. Yeah, that was it. Ding, 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 ding. 3 trades in a row is good. So we're going to look for something like that on ETH. But the core positioning is not one to touch yet, I don't think. And I know that the temptation is there. As somebody who's taken a lot of paper cuts in the last few months, there's nothing I would like more than to lock in a win and say, look at that, my P&L, look at that, realized it. But I know better, and I've done that. I've done that a lot. I can do things like move up my stop loss. I can trail some profits. Like I can, it's not like don't touch anything ever. But I'll tell you what this reminds me of. This reminds me of here. This is what I feel like we're kind of going through right now. Because it's not going to be the same. So let's just forget about, 20K, 6K, and then we're just going to have to break down. We still, could still go down there, but I just don't think so. This is today. That's what I think. We break it out, chop, 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 and then we're just going to squeeze higher than anyone thinks. And if that is the case, and this is sort of that mid bear market rally, then what we're looking at is the short reload zone. Look at that. Look how cute it was. Anybody who sat there with orders there, they got filled. So zooming into today, I could be wrong. Maybe I'm just like stupid and I should take my profit. Now, if that's the case, as you can see, all the trading I'm trying to do is down here. That's very conservative if you consider the entire move down we've just had. Because a more aggressive take would be like this. I know a lot of people are here like, oh, RT, relax. It's one green day, and they're talking about 3,200. Well, nobody was talking about 20K back at the highs, all right? You gotta think big here. Gotta think big. I do, anyways. So I am personally looking to close up my perps down in this range and not get too greedy, on the assumption that we could just get into some kind of like winter chop for a year. I think that. But my spot plays, I won't be touching until if we did something up in here. And of course, by then, bear market's over, right? That's what everyone's going to say. Because by then we would have this big, fat weekly W, which is basically my signal to get all my stables in, either on that breakout or on like a dip that follows it 2 months later. Those are all the things. Those are all the things I think. Those are my thoughts. So that's my positioning. That's my thoughts. I would, so if you consider that like this is within the realm of possibility, and then I zoom in, and I think there's probably a lot of people shocked in disbelief by this market, which has been tough on everybody. There's no doubt about it. This has been a shitty year. Unless you're Mr. I'm shorting and I'm so good. Like, okay, well, join the tiny club of only 8 people that pulled it off. Great stuff. And I'm not even salty, bro. Congrats. That's impressive. I suck at shorting personally because I'm just too bullish on the mid-long term. Now, yeah. So all of a sudden, these look like pretty conservative targets, right? Just trying to get it off within range. I think this high being taken is a foregone conclusion at this point. Like it's probably 80% probable. And I don't want to get out too early, so I'm certainly not rushing out today. Because typically what I would have done historically is like, ooh, such nice profit. And then, you're like, oh, nice, I got out. And then it goes higher. You're not in that nice position anymore. You just like struggle to find that, that length again. To express length mid-run is harder. If you got in pre-breakout, don't fuck that up by trying to overtrade this. That's my message to myself. Okay, let's go to the chat. Let's kick it. Let's chat. We're halfway through the show. I've given you all of my personal trading updates right now. RB coins, yeah, we're gonna look at RB coins. That's sort of a watered down, no, not watered down, but like it's an old thesis of ours. I say ours. This is mostly mine. I don't think Rob and Dan give a shit about Arbitrum, but I've been watching Arbitrum for a while. I'll be happy to report I have like 1 or 2 positions. I didn't load up, but everything that would have been in Arbitrum is ETH anyway, so we long. But yeah, let's take a look. It appears the melt up has begun. Kevin, I think I saw you say that in the pit the other day, and it made me all warm and fuzzy. It was Sunday night, and thank you, because that added to my conviction. I was like, should I sell? Should I sell? No, because Chewbacca says the melt up has begun. What portion of a smart trader portfolio is straight buy and hold, or do traders laugh at hodlers? No, I mean, look, there's ways to trade through an entire bull market. The key to being a trader is understanding your own self, as far as like, I have a full-time job and I don't work at home and I have to go to work all day, so I should not be a day trader, obviously, right? I don't say me, I'm saying like you, example, right? So, for example, if you're sitting around all day and you have all the time in the world, you can be a day trader if you want to be. I have a son. I don't want to spend all day sitting here sweating trades. So I prefer to be a midterm swing trader. So for example, thinking long, thinking short, thinking long. Obviously the short was harder to catch, even though it was right around the merge, so it shouldn't have been that hard. Point is, like, 3 trades in the last 6 months would have been ideal for me. Now, like I said, this bear market kind of fucked with me, and I got into a little bit of day trading. Cost me a few bucks, but I really don't like day trading. I find it hard when I'm in like a higher leverage position to just enjoy my day, do other things, right? I don't know about you guys. It's very consuming, and I know people say, well, you just size down, bro, and it's like, I'd rather not. I'd rather size up and then do a midterm swing trade where you have looser stops, bigger swings, and you're just letting the market do the work for you. So to answer your question, Tibble, I don't think traders laugh at hodlers. I mean, some do because they're dicks, but I think hodlers in the right state can do really well. Personally, I've held things that went all the way up and all the way down, and I decided that was stupid because there was a lot of signs that I should have sold and been a trader. But trading without a plan is when you get into trouble, because a lot of hodlers like to think they're hodlers in the bull market, and then the bear market turns them into traders, and they just sell the lows thinking that they're going to suddenly become a profitable trader selling into their depression. It just doesn't work that way, and that's why people lose money. Thanks for coming out to my TED Talk. So all I can say is, if you want to be a holder, be a hodler. If you want to be a trader, be a trader. Don't try to flip-flop between the two. based on sentiment. You will always end up selling lows and buying highs. Almost always. Morning, Jordan. Welcome, buddy. Fishy says all the weekly charts have huge MACD and Willy divergences. Yeah, man, it's a very, very exciting time right now in crypto. There was some excitement brewing all through this range because I had a feeling that this should be the low. But obviously today is like that big stamp of like, I think you guys might be right. I think all of those MACD bull divs and all those, things that we were all being called hopium dealers for talking about by the 65% of people who were voting or taking the polls on Twitter saying like, we're going lower. Well, that crowd today, I don't want to dance. I don't want to dance on anyone's grave, man. It's shitty. But like, I'll be honest with all the reply guys, just like, well, what about this? You're too bullish. You're stupid. I sold all my stuff here and I'm going to buy lower. Like I low key wanted them to get squeezed. I like, not trying to be rude. I'm not a dick, but like, I'm very, very pleased to have been on side with this because it's so hard to hold for me through conviction, like with conviction through some of these, like, like it's so hard to be short up here, even though, bears are in control. The momentum indicators had all rolled over. We had an M-top. We had a retest. We had a fail. Any trickle up here was just a big, loose, fat short. Stick it on. Put it in the market. But it's hard to do that because you're surrounded by guys that are like, you're stupid. We're going higher. And so I guess maybe that's why deep down I kind of resent some of that noise. And so when I do get on side and then they get left behind for a little bit, because obviously this is just the beginning of a new trend, it looks like. Obviously. Right? So, yeah, definitely a little bit of schadenfreude today for some of those late bears who tried to get me out of my longs with their copium. I think Arbitrum coins go off, to be honest. Yeah, I do too. When next cycle comes around, I think L2 is probably mad bullish. Yep, that's a hot take, and I like it. Coach Popovic says he's bullish on L2s. I'll tell you what I'm bullish on, bridging protocols. I think that there's going to be a really strong bridging protocol rally at some point. I think it's just too obvious of a sector and too identifiable as a sector. It just takes one or two, and then the third one will rally. So which one breaks out first? We've got multi here. I know Synapse is having a pretty good day. I mean, let's be honest, everything's so oversold that today is probably just a double-digit green for everything. And so our job becomes, what can outperform, what can be a standout. I like Synapse, Multi, and STG, Stargate. I think bridging protocols, multi-chain future is such a slam dunk narrative that at the very least it's going to get its day in the sun, whether or not it proliferates into a multi-trillion-dollar industry. That'll be to be determined. But this is an old squiggly I had on here. It looks like it's so far so good. Can get rid of that. Low, higher low, breakout, and that's a weekly chart. So they already had the weekly W on Synapse, but RT, it went down after. Yes, because it doesn't want to leave without us. That's the beauty of these weekly W's, guys. Is a lot of the time, they still come back for you. So you can wait for the weekly W, just like Sunday night. And I fucked this up, but then I caught myself and got out right away. But just like Sunday night, let's go see. We need a better chart, though. Something a little less inky. Oh, that's the inkiest chart I have on ETH. God damn it. Okay. Let's just take a quick peek because we just got this and it was really good. I mean, Sunday night, we got the close. Sunday night, we got the close. We got here, and then this was the midpoint of this whole kind of consolidation. Sorry about the shaky line, but that was the high we had to close above, and we did. But you don't have to almost ever rush right in and ape that because typically you get the throwback after. It's like, here's the excitement, squeeze the late bulls, and then go. Now, holy fuck, this candle. Didn't expect that, although should have, because typically when the cat's out of the bag and there's tons of cash on the sidelines and everything's oversold, it just, you just go. All that short energy is fuel. But so this really played out deliciously as far as like here was the tag of the pump chaser zone right after confirming the bullish breakout. Did I execute it perfectly? 1326 entry? Nah. But I think I'm like 1335, so it's not too bad. It's not easy, guys. Trading this stuff is not easy. Analyzing it is far and away easier. Anyways, weekly W. Now we're down in the reload zone. We're actually just out of it. Probably in the pump chaser zone. We're just creeping back into it. But Synapse, I feel like I sold my Synapse. And I feel like it was $1.40. I have to double check, but I'm probably just going to get back in because I want to have a bag of Synapse, Multi, and I still have a bag of STG. Couldn't tell you my cost basis on it. I bought the bonding curve initially, sold a lot in the upper threes, and then bought a lot too early, sold it, and then bought, I don't know. But definitely overall in profit on this one, but gave some back for sure. This looks great. STG looks delicious right now. Look at this thing. So it came off the 88.6, Gunny's favorite level, the Sharktoshi level from TRI. Let's go see. Bink, bink. So like very sexy working off the 88.6 after a volume breakout out off the lows, coming into the 88.6, and then even zooming in a little closer, getting into that sort of local reload zone. I mean, imagine a perp long right here up against that low, the size you could take given how little your risk window is. And then, of course, the potential upside is just in this range is already probably 100%. Yeah, you're not even leaving the range and you've already got a double. But, of course, if we leave the range, Bob's your uncle. So coming through that trend line, yeah. STG looks great. So I think one of these can run. It looks like STG is the most primed. Doesn't have a weekly W yet, at least not a really clean one. I mean, maybe. I guess you could argue that that's a weekly W. I'm stupid. Of course it is. Look at that. Look at that sexiness. And then actually, this the weekly W, this the reload zone off of that. So Synapse and STG looking the best out of bridging protocols. I love both of those. And then I think if they run, which again, not today, not tomorrow, but in the next 6 to 12 months, like this is a midterm position, right? Weekly W's, how long did that even take to come in, right? I mean, this thing launched in March, April, hit the low in June, didn't confirm the weekly W till August, months later. And now the entry didn't come in months later after that. So imagine the take profit on this for me as a swing trader. It's months and months and months away. I am not buying this and checking the 15-minute chart tomorrow. That's the key to good swing trading. You don't want to get caught up because within a very good swing, if just say it did something like that, like there's going to be bearish setups on lower time frames coming in throughout. And if I just cut my big long swing position here, and then what my best entry, I'm watering down my long. So if I want to short or hedge out along the way, I can use perps on some other place, but STG looks absolutely fantastic. A lot of things are being built on Stargate. They are enabling a ton of different DeFi cool things, omni-chain stuff. So yeah, multi being perhaps the laggard out of the three, multi-chain. I mean, it's in the name, guys. It's going to go if Stargate and Synapse go, and they've both printed weekly Ws. So I'd say this one, weirdly, is like the laggard out of them, but it looks so good from an investable level type thing in my books. As you guys know from the beginning of the show, that big fat disclaimer, none of this is financial advice. Don't call me if you win. Don't call me if you lose. You're playing the game by yourself. I'm just here to show you how I play. But anyways, yeah. This looks delicious. And of course, right out of that 88.6, again, all these levels. I mean, you guys picking up on these fibs yet? These things are great. If you haven't already, I wish I was like super high-end YouTube and I'd be like, hey, up there in the corner, you can watch the Reload Zone video. But it is there on our channel, and you can get a bit better understanding of how these work. Pump Chaser Zone is another one that I came up with. Reload Zone I did not come up with. Picked that up at TRI, therationalinvestor.com. I'm always going to give them a shout because that's where I learned pretty much all this stuff. So if you're really dead serious about crushing it over the next years of your life, I can only recommend that you do the thing I did, which was go to TRI and take their course. Starts in January, June, and September, the different terms. Otherwise, you can check out my Reload Zone video, Pump Chaser Zone video, and what was the other one? Chaos PRZ video. Those are all some concepts that I picked up over there, and I shared them with you. Just a light intro to the stuff you can learn over there. But obviously getting the whole course for yourself and your own trading plan is way more powerful. But yeah, check out the Reload Zone videos if you haven't, because I want those views. I made them last year. They were good. All right, Fishy, good to see you online, bud. Hit me up on Discord sometime. Yeah, Jordan and Fishy making friends. What about ID? Oh my God, let's go see ID. Good old ID. I tried to schedule a call with Bob Reed recently, and he had some last minute thing. He couldn't make it. Red flag. No, just kidding. Bob's a good dude. And this coin is a stinker right now. It just is what it is. It's got no bid. The one knock on it, which I heard well after I'd already had my position and well after my position was underwater, was that some of the larger clients that were coming in needing ID to access all the services on the platform were actually able to buy OTC from the ID team instead of having to go to the market to buy, which kind of defeated the entire premise of you must have this token to use this platform, as far as like me trying to be a trader. So I have some of my ID left through this range. I started liquidating some of it because I want that tax write-off, because if I have an unrealized loss, it's useless to me. But if I realize the loss, then I can get some money back from the government this year, which would be nice. So if I can get out of my position down here at a max loss, and then I have to wait 30 days or more and then rebuild my position to kind of be able to get that loss without being a scammer, fraudster, because I'm not, that's kind of my plan. So if this thing wants to just find a bottom here, and then my plan was to talk to Bob Reed and be like, I'm taking the loss. Not tell him that, but I'm sure he can watch the show. But my point is I was going to call him between taking the loss and potentially rebuilding my position. And if I'm hearing things that I like, and it's like, hey, there's some real chances here. This is a bag that I married, and it's been a tumultuous marriage, let me tell you. Very underwhelming. So it's too bad, but that's how it goes. I remember when I finally committed, where I'm just like, fuck it, I'm just going to hold this thing. It was one of my bigger bags. And then, like, to my own credit, I just focused on other stuff, just go trade other things, go pretend this is like already written off, which I essentially did. So yeah, strategically, I need to capture this tax loss this year. So I've been just slowly offloading it, fully hoping that I can get it back in this range, or God forbid, even a little bit lower. Why not? But if you watch what they're doing on Twitter and from afar, they're not dead. They're definitely building. They still got their multi license. They would, they need a narrative. And I think the regulation in the US is a great narrative for them, because they're already sort of pre-compliant DeFi. CeFi DeFi? I don't know. So all these things I'm going to talk to Bob Reed about. I should reach back out to him, get on that call. And if I do get on that call and I do find out some things, I'll be sure to bring them here to tell you guys. I ain't going to keep that a secret. It's all good. Synapse, Superfire, Zero Hack so far, vibes. Yep, agreed. Volume alert popped. Could be a good echo. STG, nice. Multi-Synapse, STG, whatever else Layer Zero comes up with. Pretty much, Timothy. Yeah. So it looks like we got a lot of fans of the bridge thesis in here. And yeah, I was talking about it earlier today, and it's like, why would I not put a slug into all three of these and sell half on double? And then it's like I have a free position in these things for the next years into what I think is going to be a multi-chain future. Seems like a no-brainer. And they also, they moved 10% today, but that's not even as much as ETH. So if we're getting into a midterm bull swing here and eventually another bull market, which we are, I would say 99% chance that we'll end up in some bull sometime from some level, I want to be long on all three of those. And a free position is the best kind. STG airdrop rumors as well. Yeah, for Layer Zero. So I am confused about that, and I need to reach out to my buddy Primo and ask him about it. What's up with Layer Zero token? What's up with Stargate token? I'd like to do some reading. Medium article. I am sure that expressing your length on Stargate as a whole would work on either token. I don't think LZ coming out, or whatever it's called, LRZ or whatever that will be, I don't think that's going to negate bullishness on Stargate token. But I would love to get some clarity on exactly what the hell's going on over here on this two token eco. Oh, God, this looks good. This is the candle that I am seeing right now. even better in a way. I mean, the bulls woke up here with the volume, and then you just had like starting the rally. But this was like the confirmation candle, and then it was like a day of sideways and then just continued up. But look, guys, if we do run higher here, which it seems likely that we'll take out this high at this point, possible, not probable, or probable, not impossible that we don't, but just remember that there's dips. There's dips. There's dips. Buying on the dips is the way to do the bull, not the breakout. Not for me anyways. Not much of a breakout trader, although having a buy stop up here obviously worked really well today for those who did it. But let's see. Where was the PCZ on this rally up? Oh my God, it was perfect. That's a great place for me to add to my longs or continue my longs or get long if I missed it. Make sure to check out the PCZ video because I think we might be heading into a season where these kinds of entries are very friendly. At least for like a triple leg thing. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C. Little Elliott wave cycle here. Could we get another one? I don't know. Let's find out. But yeah, PCZ season all over the place. This is the tool I'll be using for the next little while because this is a rally. This looks like we're done, at least with the low time frame range, obviously. Look at us. And then the question is, can we break out of this range? That's the next elephant in the room to address. This will become a range 2 potentially. I would like to think it's the beginning of a trend that started with the merge. Low, lower high, higher low, higher high, right? And then it's this gradual thing. And then, as bull markets do, they like to start gradually and then suddenly. So that would be the dream scenario here. And that is why we liked to get long in this reload zone. All right. I'm butthurt about Sin. Had a great position. Then I unloaded before the huge dump and I failed to reload it. Yeah, Jordan, I think I'm in a very similar boat. I'd have to go check the chain. But I know, weirdly, it wasn't showing up on Zapper. So I had forgotten about it for a while, much to my credit, because I didn't puke it. And then when I discovered it again, and I went through a big tax selling sort of writing off, because basically I'd gotten wrecked this year, as a lot of people do. Not wrecked like, oh my gosh, I'm homeless, but like, drawn down significantly. And then I went and talked to my tax accountant and we went through some of the software, what's been doing the tracking. And he's like, oh, it looks like you have like a fat gain on your account. And I'm like, what the fuck? There's no way. Because like I had a great trade on Stargate this year. And so there was a gain from that. But then I blew a lot of that and then, got drawn down. And the reason is because I hadn't sold any of my shit. So those losses weren't realized. I had a visual drawdown on everything. But tax-wise, I was still going to actually owe money. So he's like, yeah, you're going to have to go and like sell some of your losers. And don't worry, in 30 days, you can buy them back and it's a new trade and you're fine. So Sin definitely got eaten by that. It's I'd have to check the chain, but it's definitely been over 30 days for this one because it's like here. I think I did it back in like July. Probably around this price. I think it was like 140. So yeah, there's my rant. That's my thing. I'm butthurt about, okay, just said that. AVAX Bridge apes on OpenSea. Why am I not rich yet? Oh my God, are they? I have a lot of those. I have a fuckload of those. They were instantly worthless. Sweet Jones, don't play with me, bro. Tell me that they're worth something. Yeah. So, and I think a lot of people, now look, let's be aware of that, right? A lot of people have taken serious drawdowns this year. And so I never really understood the whole tax selling season during a bull market like last year. Where were we? November, December, January. Yeah, like this, people were like, oh, it's tax selling. I don't know why you would sell it like into the end of a December on a bullish year. I mean, maybe they had losses somehow. This is Ethereum. But, I think a lot of the selling, oh, actually, you can see it right here. Yeah, this was the real tax selling, right? This was like people are in great profit, but we're greedy people and we don't want to pay our taxes this year. We want to pay them in the next year. So we wait till January 1st. And so the tax selling actually came after January 1st. But in that same light, I think we could look pre-January, which is right here, Definitely have a better tool for that. January 1st. So there is, I expect tax selling before that date. Because, like I just explained for myself, I'm staring at a tax bill unless I sell shit at a loss and write it off and then or whatever you do. Not write it off, but you know what I mean. Lock in the loss. So there's going to be a lot of that happening, especially if we rally through this. Because then you can lock in a loss and a profit if you were buying off lows. I don't know how that works. Never mind. I take everything I just said back. Point is, I think early mid-December, we could expect whatever rally this is to stall. And that's why I'm not planning to get too greedy on anything like this, probably up here, right? As much as I want to trade this low up into here, and I think I could, spot long, I probably will. But in my perps and stuff, I really just want to see whatever, like, something like that. And then into the end of the year, selling through that tax window. What is that? That's all the way over here, actually. But yeah, selling somehow, like this is the most likely scenario for me, I think, is getting up into here and then through the end of the year, selling into that selling tax loss season, bottom in January of some kind, and then, finding a range for 2023. What does that look like? I don't know. Obviously, I think it's going to be bullish up to there at least. Here's a fun one. But we need a full history on Bitcoin. Ooh, let's go see if we can even get that on here. This goes back as far as CoinMarketCap, so I guess that's 2013, not bad. If you think this is a bull, like a long-term bull market, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that was the end of it. Elliott wave. Anyways, I've heard some theses that instead of having like straight 2 years of sideways, aside from the fact that adoption's up, UK government talking about regulated financial instruments, we've got countries buying Bitcoin, all those nice bull theses we had, right? They're not gone. We had a drawdown. Okay, doesn't cancel the party. Just prolongs it or delays it. Anyways, all that to say, I think there is some people out there, and I'm one of them, that think that this whole bear thing could be accelerated. In other words, we may not have to sit through as much death. There's always people, it's not different this time, it's going to be the same. Well, it's already different, bro. So thanks for that take. Because we've never touched all-time highs, and we just did, and we've never not had a blow-off top, and we just did. So I think there's all kinds of reasons to think that this will play out slightly different, namely a little bit more accelerated, a little bit more aggressively. And if that ends up being, that we just, whatever, like getting up here a little sooner. Like otherwise, you might be looking at something like that, really savage. I don't know. Not that squiggly. That was a dumb one, but I just think, I think the cat's out of the bag now. I think the people who decide what things get to become things have decided that crypto is going to be a thing. And if that's the case, it's only a matter of time until these regulated, more like intense financial managers, institutions like that Mellon one recently. Oh, what do they got? Only $63 trillion under management, making Bitcoin and Ethereum and other products available to their users. Maybe just Bitcoin, I forget. But all of those things, cat's out of the bag, this thing might really just melt up. Not today, not next week, but like into the next year, instead of just like 2019 where we actually weren't sure if this thing was dead or not. At least the altcoins especially. Does that make sense? I know it's breakout day and I just sound like a ridiculous bulltard, but here we are. This is how I feel. This is how I felt a month ago. We've been bullish on this channel for far too long, all the way through the bear. Painful. But in the end, when we break these highs, which I think is a foregone conclusion someday, we get to say that this didn't matter. Even though there was an opportunity in there to make money and not get wrecked. There was a really nice, obvious short that's set up right here. I was actually in it and I closed it too soon. Yeah. Did we play it perfectly? No. But did Rob and I stick to our convictions? And will that age well? Stay tuned to find out. 2024, 25, 23, 26. We got a lot of years ahead, guys. The market's not going anywhere. I'm convinced of that one thing, that the market will be here. My guess is, guess, is it'll be up. We'll see. Anything gaming related you're into? I'm super bullish on DeFi Kingdoms, Crystal, and Jewel tokens. I have not touched any of those. I am interested in gaming. I think I don't even have any, but Illuvium is one that keeps coming up as a strong play. Let's go see. Oh, not so strong. Let's go see. Okay, I really only want CoinMarketCap. Thank you. Ooh. Oh, yeah, this one went on a super... Oh, my God. Yeah, I never touched that one. I remember on stream somebody at like around here was like, come on, you should get in. I was like, nah. Then they're like right here, like, yeah, see, told you should get in. I was like, nah. And then I was like, oh, man, I should have gotten in. And now I'm like, ha. Never FOMO. It'll always come back, especially in crypto, where value is just in your imagination. DFK chain, yeah. What tax software are you using? I'm using cointracking.info. I am probably going to switch to Coinly with a K, because a lot of the accountants I speak to, they all say that that's the one that they know. So, and I've heard it's good. So I'm going to try Coinly next year. Cointracking info is good in the sense that you can kind of adjust and touch and tweak everything, except for, I don't know. It's really frustrating. My plan into the end of the year is to cut as much of my stuff as possible so that I can really get back to like cash and then start fresh. Cost basis, everything fresh. Because if you don't track properly from day one, and if you have like a wallet or a withdrawal or anything missing in the network of all the shit that you're trying to track with APIs, any one thing missing, not accounted for, which of course over the years, I mean, Quadriga CX, my first exchange, it's just shut down and it's dead and gone. I didn't even know how to do this stuff properly until last couple of years working with an accountant. And so they come to me, they're like, can you show us your original deposits from 2017? I'm like, no, I can't. And therefore, the cost basis that's rolling on all of these assets is forever fucked up. So the strategy we came up with this year is we're going to just sell everything I possibly can to cash into the end of the year and then move into a new wallet, set up APIs for that, and act like it's a totally new thing. And then everything will just be nice and tight and concise. So not to get it too much into the tax stuff, but that's kind of what you got to do if you want to take this stuff seriously, which I do, because I don't want to spend 6 months doing my taxes every year like I did last year. But we did get it right, which feels good. ILV is cool for sure. Illuvium stinks. Oh, wow. We have various opinions right back to back. Hot takes. Someone make a cult of the lamb derivative so we can have a token that actually fun game. Yeah, I don't know. Never heard of that. But cult of the lamb. Sounds fun. What's another good gaming token? I am still bullish on Sin. Not because the TA looks good, but because... Oh, God. Take that back, RT. It's gross. No, but I know that they're building. So who knows about the token? I'm still holding the ones I bought. Most of them. I think I got some. I think I got rid of some. I hope I got rid of some. Because, my God, days down. But, yeah, I think I did some selling here, but like very little after making an investment in this pre-sale. And, and all the rest I'm just claiming and holding. If this thing bottoms out here, great. They actually have a game. Let's go see. Actually, Sinverse. It's kind of like this GTA thing. Now, does GTA come out and make their own token, and then all this is bullshit? Maybe. But this is one that, as far as games go, I just, I've been talking to the team. I know they're building. It's just, it's going to be like a little GTA type thing. Gangs and land sales. I bought some of the land NFTs last year. Probably bought too many, but this is where they're at. So you can build and buy, and it could be really cool. It could be lame. I don't know, but we're gonna find out. And I'm not selling my coins. So it's the kind of thing like a year from now, and all the vesting's done, and all the weekends are out, and we build the base, and we see some accumulation, and the game comes out, and all that stuff. Yes, maybe. Really excited for this one. So, yeah, that's the one I know. I want to say RPG. Now, they got ripped off on an OTC deal, which made the chart look like shit. But let's go see RPG, because I was pretty bullish on this one. You guys might recall last year, I actually loaded a bunch at $1, didn't sell it. Oops. So that's one that I had to write off the loss on as well, because it's down 98%. God, Jesus. Wow. Yeah, so they all look like this, guys. Spoiler alert. I don't know how I feel about the gaming thing. I'm investing in some of it. I'm investing in some of the games, the infrastructure. My fund thesis is generally bullish on GameFi. But I have my sneaking suspicions that the token stuff, the models that are being employed, especially if they're based on Axis Infinity, we might have been off on that one. Might have been wrong on that one. We'll see. The jury's still out. I'm not fucking selling. Except for to write off taxes on that particular coin. Let me see. What was I just going to look up? Oh, yeah. Let's go look at Axis. Because the thing is, and Gunny and I talked about this on stream last year, right around here, last summer. And it was this idea that, like, you know, I don't feel FOMO. I'm not coping. You're coping. But it was this idea that, like, I'm not too worried about missing this, because if GameFi is going to be big, and now that this thing's been so successful, at least at going high in number, there's just going to be 500 new GameFi projects next year. And here we are a year later, and there is over 1,000, I would say, new GameFi tokens. And this thing is just toast. So let's see. I don't know what changed fundamentally. Obviously, you run out of buyers and everyone starts selling, and that's the main change that took place here. But I would say let's keep an eye. Oh, nice bit of volume there on Axis Infinity. Axie Infinity. Yeah, I'd say keep an eye on this thing, because for now, at least, well, not maybe now, but historically, this was the leader. This is what made GameFi cool. So if it can find a bottom and then say, like, hey, long term, we actually are sustainable, then all of those GameFi tokens should catch bottoms as well, or at least the good ones. Star Atlas. Oh, yeah. So Star Atlas is another one. Yeah. Good call. Yeah, you know, same thing. All these charts are going to look the same, and that doesn't mean they're dead. In fact, this is a time to pay attention and find out fundamentally. You know, if I can make the case that user increase should equal price of token demand usage increase, then this is a friggin' awesome opportunity. Incredible. Generational even, on any one of these tokens. So this is really time to do research and come up with your own thesis on, you know, do I think that this will be an attractive game for users? And then if so, do I think that more users equals increased token demand and, you know, usage of the token? Because if all those things are true, then what we're getting right now is an opportunity to find another next 100x or whatever more, right? The big winners from these kinds of absurd lows are going to probably get 1,000x's. So I don't know if that's Star Atlas. I haven't looked into it enough. And I don't even know if that's GameFi. But I'll tell you this, almost certainly, never promising shit, but almost certainly some tokens off these lows that we're seeing right now, and that maybe we're even seeing into next year, are going to 1,000x. 1,000x. Put in $10, make $10,000. Imagine. That's such a ridiculous concept. But it'll happen. I mean, it happened, I would say I hit 1,000x, but it did happen to one of the coins that I got. Trust Swap pre-sale is what kicked off the bull market in 2020 for me. And we got it at 0.5 cent. Down here. Holy shit. This was back before DeFi summer. This, like, obviously anywhere later, man, 0.5 cent was the pre-sale price of this thing. This is when valuations weren't as pumped, right? So, and like they genuinely, we didn't even fill it. They offered us an amount, and we were like, "Oh yeah, we'll each take a little bit. Why not?" It's been a friggin' deathly bear market. Nothing was going up. We didn't even fill it. I think the amount we left on the table ended up being worth like over $1 million. It was ridiculous. But anyways, point is, this thing 1,000x'd when it hit $5. It actually peaked at exactly 1,000x. But I did some selling because I'm not built like that. In fact, I did all my selling here, and then I had my last little moon bag here, and I forgot to add back here, and then I saw that. So is Trust Swap bottoming? I don't know. Big fan of the founder. I love Jeffy K. He's been on the stream before, actually. He came on last year to talk about what they've been building. Maybe it's time to check them out, because they are forming a bottom. I think you can basically ignore this candle. I don't think there's any reason That's kind of like that launch candle you get on like Binance and stuff. So that's the 1000X I didn't get. It was a token I had that could have, but I sold it all well before. It's not easy. You know, it's ridiculous. The idea of even getting 1000X is ridiculous because it means you had 100X and didn't sell. And then you had a 500X and you didn't sell. And you had an 800X and you didn't sell. And you had a 990X and you didn't even sell. Almost like you have to be stupid to get 1000X. Because, I mean, if you didn't sell that whole way, are you going to sell 1000X? I don't know. Anyways, we're getting into philosophical chats here. 81 cents. This is not full history. What the hell? What the heck? Swap? Is Swap on Binance now? I feel like it is. Oh, this is such a sexy chart. Oh, Bitcoin's catching up too. This is a chart I put together just recently with like SPX, NASDAQ, showing the correlation and the outperformance. And ETH is crushing today. Bitcoin's still doing well. Vibes is sharing some tickers in the chat. I don't have too much time left here, guys, but those are some tickers we should dig into in the pit. There's a ton of good ideas flowing around in the pit. Lots of interesting takes. I say interesting because I don't agree with them all, but that's the point of the pit, right? Buy, sell, buy, sell. I'm bullish, I'm bearish. Like, that's it. So if you guys haven't already, get into the pit. Come chill. Going to dig into some of these. And I think Random Task Charts, that little channel where I kind of share my thoughts, I'll probably start using that again because it'll just be like a live journal for me. Get some charts in there. And if we find some really nice bullish setups, I'll just start posting them there that I want to take. And that's just a way for me to keep myself accountable. So I'm like, hey, RT, you said you were bullish on this. Didn't thou buy? And I usually don't end up buying because I talk about so many goddamn things and then I don't actually take action. So as part of my reset into more trader accountability, I'm going to start sharing the things that I like, and that is increasing the chance that I will actually trade them properly, because that's what I want to do. So, Gala. Oh, yeah, Gala. Gala was one. I think, you know what I did? Stupidly. I went and bought the node license for Gala. It was like 4 ETH at the time. And I bought it so that I could run a node. And then very quickly after, I realized I did not want to run a node. And they would not give me a refund, which is fine. They don't owe me a refund. But I also sold all my Gala right here. I remember that very distinctly. I was up, and then I was bored, and I sold it. And then like within 24 hours, it got listed on Binance. I remember that. That was a good moment. So Gala and I have beef. Not actually, but again, great opportunity. If you liked it here, you're going to love it here. And then it's just a matter of, can we look at the fundamentals? Do they have a product? How's that user growth? And does the tokenomic model suggest that user growth will equate to token demand? If so, big opportunities coming in. It's not a weekly W yet though, right? This thing is still just trending down. So I actually don't like this token at all, like right here. It tried to bottom here and then failed. So I really like all of these tokens, guys. There's so many things you got to look at. Like, I mean, there's a $1.3 billion FDV on this thing. And it looks like only a 262 mil cap. So that means there's like 6x the amount of tokens to come into circulation than already exist. So on that note, this is like stay away mode for me on Gala. I would need a lot more clarity on that. Nice. Jordan says he got out on the big Binance pump, not the day before, like me, like a pleb. So that's great. Congrats, bro. It wasn't like a massive bag. It wasn't, it was like, haha, I can't believe it. The market is so uncanny how it does that. I wasn't that mad, more just sad. Starl. Yeah, there's a lot of Starlink. 3.7 mil liquidity. Vibes is sharing lots of juice. Oh, this chart actually looks a little better. Good stuff. Good eye, bro. Because, well, why? Well, like you have a W here. So at the very least, I've got some nice structure. Low. New low. Where did the bears go? Look at the vibe. Look at the sell volume there. Like non-existent. Almost like we ran out of sellers. It's possible. Low, high, higher low, and now possibly a higher high printing today, actually. So This might be one with a slightly better technical setup. I still don't love it. It's like it just made new lows, weeks ago. Much prefer like a flatter, more drawn out low. Best description of that from today's show would probably be multi. Let's take a look, and then I got to wrap it up. Or do I? Yeah, so like that other token we just looked at, Starl or whatever, Starlink, it almost looks like multi back here, where it had just made a new low, high, and maybe printing a higher high. So it's like a little earlier in the bottoming process. Does that make sense? I think we're in a market where there's going to be some things that are running hot. They have already kind of had their long, drawn-out bottoming. Again, this could just go on for another 9 months, this kind of sideways move, but this one clearly a lot further along in that, dried up volatility mode, whereas some of the other ones we just looked at were like just arriving down there. So I'd prefer to be on a horse that's ready to leave the station or stable, rather than like buying things that just came off their highs and are just making new lows. But yeah, Star Atlas sounded dope when I first heard about it. And so that's one of the ones I'd like to look at. I don't know. I don't know if I'm most bullish on GameFi overall. As a sector, I think Omnichain is my strongest thesis. I think, on-chain derivatives. I know Messi's been tweeting about Hxro. Thing moved like 160%. Let's take a look. Hxro obviously is one. Hxro Network is coming out. I'm so excited about Hxro Network. I know I am contracted here to work here, so I should shut up about my own bags. But on-chain options derivatives is something that, having spent so much time with Gunny and Rob, I've become very bullish on as far as will be a thing and hasn't been built yet. So there's a few different ways to express that in the market. I think it goes without saying that I'm a Hxro staker. I actually thought yesterday, once I started hearing about it again, about Hxro, but then obviously I looked and I was like, oh, it's up 200%. I don't care that much. But it looks really cool. Messi's been sharing some tradies in, and the UI looks cool. The UX, he says, is good. I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole, but it may be a basket that I want to build. Crypto options, DPX, Hxro. I know PowerTrade is an old one. I don't know what they're doing. It's more of a mobile app for crypto options. And then Hxro Network is one that I'm beta testing right now and helping out in every way possible. And staking for a long time. Canto, yeah. Let's check out Canto. I actually came up a few times recently. And with 12 million volume, or 12 million in liquidity, what's not to love? This was a really weird one for me. If you guys know how I like to trade and charts that I like, it's probably a really nice PCZ here. Oh, perfect one. But this wasn't really a chart that's set up for me, other than having a pump chaser zone, which is beautiful. It just was too weird, a big, down only, up only. It didn't have that bottoming that I am going on and on about today. So it didn't really look to me like something I wanted to touch. But if I had gotten touchy, the setup did come in juicy, and then it printed a Empire Fractal right off the pump chaser zone. So after this candle printed, it was a pretty much foregone conclusion it was going to run. If only I had been watching. But yeah, I've heard great things about Canto. It's Canto versus Note. It's a weird slingshot finance. Okay, that's why. Either way. Yeah, the cope on Canto, not going to make it. Yep. Let's see. Let's rub that cope in with a little, how many percentages did we miss? I'm not too worried about this one. Oh, 178. That's not so bad. 22 million FDV. Here's the crazy thing. What were the valuations in FDVs we were seeing through the last bull? The more ridiculous ones were Filecoin. I forget what that peaked at, but it was 80 billion plus. Serum, 88 billion. I saw at one point. And, we saw how those ended for now. Not ended, but, continued. Filecoin. Just doing the thing. Just doing that gross ass thing that's so many of these things do. That shit's looking like some Snapchat stock over there. But Yeah, Serum. So these FDVs come off, but the point is, like, we're looking at FDVs that are like 22 mil, 4 mil. A lot of these Arbitrum plays are just so micro cap. So if we're really bullish on this stuff and we really think it's all going to run, the opportunity right now is incredibly asymmetric. What's the one Arbitrum? PLS is the one that I bought. Oh no, and I have some MGM. Mugen. Mugen is it's like a high risk silly. Like, it's like such low liquidity. I'm not going to sit here and say go buy Mugen, but I did. I bought some because it's basically like a yield aggregator. So they're going to run strategies on, they're going to run strategies on GLP and all these things, and then all that yield will go back to stakers. So it's just like, I guess, does that make it like a urine vault thing where they run all these strategies with the funds and then send out all the yields to stakers to enhance the overall, one place to stake, grab all the yield kind of thing. I don't know. I think if you mint these right now, it's like $160. Therefore, there is an implied discount to buying them on the market, which is why I was buying them, because it means I'm getting the yield as if I had a position of this amount, even though I only bought in for this amount. So you're getting bonus yield. That was how it was presented to me. I did go get some, but the friggin' liquidity is so tiny, I can't sell it ever. And neither will you be able to if you bought some. So as with everything, this is not a recommendation. But that's one that I bought some of, and it's just going to be a yield play. I don't expect it to do too many multiples. PLS is the one I picked up at 35 cents. So it's starting to move. Looks really good. Magic. Even at 97 FDV, people are like, oh man, it's not micro enough for me. Dude, that's micro, I think. Because the big successful protocols or apps or whatever, like, they're going to be multi-billions. So I think we can, I don't know about this one. Magic sounds cool. Vesta. Umami. Yeah, so ARB is moving. Arbitrum stuff is moving. Airdrop speculation running absolutely rampant on crypto Twitter right now. Airdrop this, airdrop that. A lot of influencers I'm finding out are just turning into big airdrop connoisseurs, which is cool, I guess. But I feel like that takes away some of the edge. I don't know if they're going to like have anti-Sybil stuff built in or whatever. But it's like when everyone starts talking about stuff, I get a little nervous. But I mean, yeah, you should farm some airdrops if you can. Free money from the sky. Umami looks good. Some kind of trend line like that. Very poorly drawn. Don't try that at home. Like that. Yep. So we moved through the trend line. We were about to confirm bullish market structure. And then that should give it a free run. At least up into this like range high RLZ. And then obviously the jackpot would be if it just runs into price discovery. So it's not really a trade for me now. This was a trade, this was a trade, this was a trade. This is late to that trade. Now if it breaks out to here and then maybe there's a pump chaser there if I'm dying to get in, but there will be a better setup somewhere along the way. RDPX. It's only at $25. 26. Also looking good though. Now if Hxro goes insane because it's options, keep an eye on other options plays. The market likes to chase echo rallies. And I think that's where we'll end today, guys. Looking for the echo. So through this, we've got ETH leading. We've got Bitcoin moving. We're going to see some sector rallies emerge, whether that's Stargate and Synapse. And then we have a multi, we could pretty much long multi after that and be like, this will catch an echo. Are we going to get an options run where we see things like Hxro going an insane 256%, and then all of a sudden everyone's looking around going, what is just like Hxro? What's another options play on chain? Blah blah blah. Find your crypto options. That sector is probably going to run. And so this is, if we do get into a bull season here, I really want to get back into that sport of just identifying the trends, hot ball of money, and then smash all the sector coins that fit the bill, and rinse, repeat, and then pay myself, take profit, and get ready for what is inevitably going to be another dump at some point. And we can all sit there in our buckets of tears, or we can sit there and buy the dip. That's what I plan to do. So to buy the dip, though, you got to have some cash, and to have some cash, you got to take some profit. But I'm not doing that today, and I'm probably not going to do that this month. There's only 6 days left in the month. So, great show today, guys. I'm glad you guys all came out. Very active chat. Got some great ideas in there. Some cope on Canto. Yeah. More DeFi TVL than FT for Canto. Market cap, bad evening, friends. Noob, 100% exposed. Hey. David Burt says, the noob I am is 100% exposed. Yeah, look, this to me looks like a breakout to a new midterm trend. For what it's worth. That's just me, and I've been wrong before. But this kind of volume creeping up, I don't think this is the top. So I'm going to stay long on my ETH longs. My majority of my exposure is Ethereum right now, spot-wise. And I'm now going to move into hunting for things that I think will outperform Ethereum. And then, of course, looking for those trends like we just talked about. Let's go back to the shot. Looking for trends like I just talked about, sector rallies, things like on-chain options, things like omni-chain, bridging protocols, whatever that theme is, GameFi. If some GameFi starts to wake up someday, I think it's very early for GameFi. Probably needs to marinate for another 6 to 12 months, at least. But yeah, I guess the final thing I'll say today is that the recipe, when you have an aggressive, in this case, bullish move, is to find what's moving the hardest, what's causing all the FOMO, and then it's like the human psychology there is like, whoa, I missed that. I want to go find something that looks just like it and catch that one. And that's where you get these echo rallies, and that's the easiest trading you'll ever do. Because you can go in with more conviction because you already see, multi 100% rally, and it's especially if like the second one goes, right? So you get coin A, then you get coin B, looks just like coin A. And then if you find a C, D, and E, the probability of them running now just increases exponentially. That's the favorite trading. I hope it's coming back soon. Anyways, it's been an absolute pleasure, guys. We'll be back on Thursday with DeltaFi. Might even be bullish enough market to get Messi back on the stream. Mr. Poopy Diaper Patrol coming out of Parenthood, hopefully to visit us on Thursday. I haven't talked to him yet, but I'm going to DM him today and be like, bro, come on. The bull's back. You got to come and join us. So if I can, I'd like to say we'll have all 4 of us on Thursday. But you'll have to tune in to find out. Whatever you do from now until then, always play from a position of strength. Take care, guys.